Hello, everybody, and welcome to this practical speech on No-Code CRM and how it can help improve customer experience. My name's Joenn. I'm an account director with Collier Pickard, which is a specialist CRM consultancy based in the UK. My career spans 40 years, all of which has been in business systems. And for the last 25 years, I've specialized in CRM. During that time, I've been a CRM consultant, a bank carrying salesman. I was Collier Pickard's marketing director for an 8-year period. And during this time, we've always focused on working with best of breed technology, best of breed systems, and delivering customer success as our primary goal in the way we go about our customer relationships. We have been prolific publishers about CRM over the past 25 years. Back in 2009, we wrote the CRM Pocketbook as a what works, what doesn't guide to getting CRM right in a period when CRM was often not very successful and didn't deliver ROI. And in recent years, we've updated this pocketbook with customer experience information, and more recently, the very latest version with low-code information. In addition to publications of that type, we're also bloggers, and blogging is not just about CRM and CRM successes and CRM implementation tips and tricks, but we try to look behind the scenes as well. And following a session that I spent at Manchester Metropolitan University's Department of Applied Psychology, we wrote a piece about the psychology of user adoption in CRM that sits behind any successful CRM implementation. So let's get into the theme of this practical speech. And as you can see from the title at the top of the screen there are 3 key words in this in the content of my session today. CRM, obviously, but no code and customer experience are the things that we need to link together and focus on during this session. But let's start with CRM. There is a constant evolution in CRM. During my period of time working with this technology, it's morphed from being just a system which was geared for salespeople and sales forecasting into one that handled customer service and support tickets, into marketing automation. It adopted workflow tools, which have become the basis of low-code, no-code technology today. It's morphed into business intelligence and full open API structures for integration with data that's held elsewhere in e-commerce systems, in ERP systems, in financial accounting. So CRM is a technology that's established, it's mature, and traditionally CRM has always had 3 attributes in the way that you went about it, and they were data, data, and data. The idea of having good quality data in a CRM system was the tenet behind being able to target what you were doing in marketing, to be able to target the right opportunities to focus on in your selling efforts, to target the best ways to handle customer service cases and process tickets efficiently. So targeting, analysis, and constantly trying to improve based on data-driven insights is the traditional home of a CRM system within any business. And if you get that right, you potentially achieve 3 things. You can improve the speed with which you do things and reduce the error rates that are occurring by eliminating human error from processes. As a result of that, you can hopefully increase your revenues and drive down costs, make the organization more profitable, and thereby enabling growth in organic growth or opening new markets, new products at a time when you've driven down the risk of growing in those ways, given that everything you're doing is data driven with the insights that come from good quality data. Now, within the no-code environment, data and adding new data to your system is an important asset of CRM. Some of the very early systems that were on the market 20 years ago required data changes to be handled by a technologist. If you wanted to add some new fields to improve insight, improve your analysis capabilities, you had to go to your techie and get the system changed, tested, and then deployed. And of course, that world has changed. And one of the advantages of low-code systems became evident to everybody when GDPR became a piece and data privacy rules had to change. So CRM systems were forced to change rather dramatically, both the data and the processes that were behind how that data was used. So no-code CRM, in terms of data management and handling data change, has been a feature of CRM for a very long time. And Creatio is a good example of a CRM system where users, providing they have the right level of access and authority within their user profile, they can add data fields and display them in the UI of the system, and therefore encourage people to adopt that, using that data in new ways. However, the aspect of no-code on processes was not always a part of traditional CRM, and that became apparent to many organizations when COVID hit and the pandemic forced working from home, distributed use of data, distributed use of processes, and it became apparent that just expecting people to know how to use data properly and how to get the most out of it in terms of delivering good customer service was not necessarily going to happen inherently. So working from home changed things for lots of organizations. Many organizations didn't have the opportunity to move there very quickly. They had to make some wholesale changes in the way they went about delivering work from home technology support. So CRM today has morphed from being about data, and has very much become about process. And so the three new tenets of CRM today are process, process, process. And if you think about it, this pulls CRM into the mainstream of other technologies which have been attempting to provide automation in other areas of business. One of the gurus of the 20th century was W. Edwards Deming, who is regarded by many as the author of the management thinking that allowed process automation in manufacturing and engineering, created the mindset that enabled just-in-time inventory management within factories and within warehouses and distribution, and therefore paved the way for the way that RPA, robotic process automation, can work inside industries in order to deliver significant benefits. I'll refer back to Deming later on, but his view that process is king is one that now needs to come into this speech, where so far we've talked a little bit about CRM and a little bit about no-code, and now it's time to focus on customer experience. Now, if you've not really focused on this aspect of the way you run your business from a technology point of view, you might ask the question, well, okay, where do I start? And the answer is, it's not just about technology. If you think just about technology and what you can do with customer interaction, you potentially end up with annoyance. I don't know how many of you have the same experience that I do, but with online ordering these days, once the order has been dispatched to a courier firm, I will get an email and a text to tell me they have my goods. I'll get an email and a text, an SMS message to tell me that it's been dispatched. I'll get an email and an SMS message to tell me it'll be delivered between 10 a.m. and 12 noon. I'll get an email and a text message to tell me it's been delivered, which of course I already know. And then I'll get both an email and an SMS message to ask me what I thought of the level of service that I'd received. And of course, the answer to that is I'm really annoyed because I've been bombarded where people have just used technology because they can without thinking of the customer experience and the impact on the person whose inbox and SMS message box is being inundated by this tsunami of repetitive information. So if it's not just tech, what is it? And the answer is that it's about design thinking. You need to make sure that the design of your customer experience is something that's absolutely relevant to the customer, which might vary across different segments of your customer world. And for many people, the start point is to actually create a voice of the customer program in the first place and find out where your start point is. What are you doing well? What are you not doing well? Where could you make improvements? Where could you capitalize on things that you do well, maybe even better than your competition? So as a CRM consultancy, we like to use acronyms as a way of abbreviating methodologies that keep reminding you the salient points of what you're about to do. And SLICE is an acronym that we use in Collier Pickard for design thinking around advising people on the whole customer experience program that they're trying to implement from a CRM platform. And the acronym SLICE breaks out like this. Obviously, we want CRM to be successful, and pundits, not just experts at Collier Pickard and at Creatio, other people will tell you that requires clear leadership. And I'll come back to that point in a few minutes. The I in SLICE relates to image. It's not correct to have brand values which say one thing in your reputation world, in your PR world, and yet have your employees doing different things. So capturing customer feedback and employee alignment to those brand values, to the image that you have, are important parts of planning the methodology that you're going to implement within CRM to create effectiveness in your customer experience and to make it easy for people and pleasurable for people to do business with you. Now, if that's the case, we need to adopt the same position that other people adopt. Here's a quote from LinkedIn. Put the customer at the heart of everything that you do. The same ethos applies in Amazon and in other global, massively successful companies, including Creatio, I might add, who put the buyer at the heart of everything that they do. And the customer success program that runs within Creatio is second to none. My strong message from this short session today is that, yes, you need to put the customer at the heart of everything that you do, but you also need to put your staff at the heart of everything you do. And the reason is that your staff have implicit knowledge. There's implicit knowledge within your employee teams. They have intuition. They deal with customers and they exercise judgment. They derive their own insights from their experience, their knowledge, their intuition. And my experience of teams right throughout the many business sectors that I've worked in during my career is that people tend not to keep this to themselves. They socialize it, they share it, they mentor other people in their organization. And improvement is a thing that lots and lots of employees have in the way they go about their job, not because it's on their critical success factors, not because it's on their appraisal sheet, but because people like helping people and they like doing things really well. So the employee implicit knowledge in delivering good customer experience, good customer service, and continually improving the way you do things is something that's ethereal at the moment for many organizations. And what no-code technology brings is the opportunity to capture this implicit knowledge and to codify it in a way that it becomes repeatable and reusable. Now, you might say, why is it important to capture and codify this employee knowledge? I've got people who do it, so why do I need to augment it in the way that you've described? And the answer to the why question is that we live in a world of extreme skill shortages, where acquiring new talent into your business is very expensive. Christine Kostareva referred to this in her keynote speech on Tuesday, where she articulated all the numbers that will be required for technologists to develop all the business applications that are going to be required over the coming years. And it won't be possible to recruit all those people as technology people. The skills that are required to make these changes and to keep improving customer experience through technology will have to come from people in different areas of the business, and not just in technology. Another thing to consider in saying, well, why do we need to capture and codify this employee intuitive knowledge, is because retention rates are reducing. One statistic I read recently in Business Week, published on the 5th of November, is that the workforce now comprises 35% millennials who are always looking for career improvement. Their time span spent in a given job, in a given organization, is lower than it was with previous generations. And that leads to knowledge loss. And if all the knowledge that's required to deliver the good customer experience is tied up in these people, then knowledge loss will result in customer experience degradation. So there's a fair amount of theory around CRM and no-code and customer experience, but this speech that I've been asked to deliver today it was entitled A Practical Speech. So let's get practical and say, okay, if I'm going to codify processes, how am I actually going to do that? So I've pulled an example here of a process which has been codified. It's a help desk process, and there are 3 swim lanes shown in this process map, where the top one is the user, the person using a help desk and support service, and the middle and lower swim lanes are the first level support and the second level support within the organization. Now, if I drill into the early stages of this interaction between the customer and the support team, you can see that the process is nicely designed. Somebody collects the collects the request and determines whether it can be handled by level 1 support or whether it needs to be escalated to level 2. Having made that decision, the process carries on either within level 1 or within level 2, and eventually we get back to the customer with a resolution, or we send somebody to site. Now, if you really drill into what's happening in the user swim lane here at the top of this diagram and drill right into it, there's a void between the customer making the new request and the case being resolved. Now, during resolution of this case, a lot of work will be going on, and the customer's not being made aware of that. Would it make sense to say, I can improve the customer experience by letting the customer know, the user know, when things are going well and when they're going slowly? So I could introduce a decision point in here at, say, 1 hour, And if my resolution takes less than an hour, I can follow the old paths and send the notification of the resolution and then go back to the user and check that the case is resolved to their satisfaction. However, if we've been more than an hour, I have the option to follow the no route and actually call the user and get their acknowledgement that the delay is happening for good reason, and then carry on resolving the case. And now I've introduced a step into the process here, which without doubt improves the customer experience. They're no longer left in a black hole, unaware of whether their support request is being handled or not. And codification of this process also gives you the opportunity to formalize service level agreements and to map that codification to some kind of quality management system, such as ISO 9001. So now my successful CRM in the past, which was always data, 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 can now be successful CRM because it hasn't lost that attribute, but it's got this focus of process, process, process. And no-code process design, as you saw in the illustration that I just ran through with the process map, which, by the way, took me maybe 3 or 4 minutes to design and codify in that way. It's put the power in the hands of the employee. It's enabling us to capture their knowledge and to create repeatable processes. These can then be tested for their effectiveness. They can be augmented by tech skills if necessary, but now the demand on tech skills has been reduced to a fraction of what it was if they had to design the whole process from scratch. And now my technical people and the management team can provide the mentoring and governance to the employees who have this power, who we've given this power to within the organization. And that means that there's a leadership issue going on here. Leadership within this no-code process environment must be about clear goals. It's not just a mission statement, it's active, it's making the goals of the organization more important than just profit. It's got to be about the level of customer service that's going on, always putting the customer first, embedding the very nature of your CRM culture into the DNA of the whole business. And if you do that, you will empower employees and they will come up with great ideas. So I'll wrap up now and I'll leave you with a final thought, which are not my words, they're the words of W. Edwards Deming again. This is the challenge to leadership of any organization. If you want to take real advantage of the no-code revolution, make sure that you understand what it can deliver and that you create an environment where your employees can be inspired and help you transform your business world. Thank you for listening.